How's it going, guys? This is Ratchet Reps. This is my chameleon gecko build and my first video. With all these builds, I try to give my best to give the animals a piece of home. All plants in this build hail from New Caledonia, which we'll go through later. I'm super excited to watch this tank grow in. I love it. If you guys have any requests for the future, please do let me know. I have plenty of empty tanks around, and I love the research process and scaping. I do not currently have any chameleon geckos, but I try to make good practice and be prepared, and when the opportunity comes, I'll be ready. I have two other recent builds that I did for both my Schneider skink and my tokay gecko, so if you guys enjoy, stick around. And without further ado, let's get into it. So the base I'm working with is a 18 by 18 by 24 Exoterra. This was actually my tokay gecko's starter tank, which has now been cleared out because he has moved into a 24 by 18 by 36. So we've got a clean base to work with here. Went ahead and wiped it down with some chlorhexidine and some rubbing alcohol to get all the gunk off, and it's ready to be filled. So for the background on this build, I'm actually using some 1-inch insulation foam that I picked up from Home Depot. I picked up this idea from a YouTuber, Nature Nate. I watched his arid bioactive build, which turned out incredible. I'd really recommend you go check it out if you haven't yet. But I really liked how it turned out and the textures you could get with it, so I decided I'd carve into some myself. So right here I got one plate on each side and two plates back there just so I can get some depth going. I also wanted to get kind of like a window effect going, so I put a plate on the front right at the bottom, and then I put another kind of bar at the top, kind of like almost like a window into another world. So you can see right here I am working with the Dremel, carving out notches for the locking mechanism and the hinges, just so there was no obstructions. Otherwise it would be hitting and not opening all the way and just wouldn't look clean. So that was my main priority. I just wanted everything to look super clean, almost like you're looking into like an opening in a rock wall or something. So at this point I clamped everything down with silicone, and the next step was just to carve up the background as well as work on this little feeding ledge that I had started working on with the Dremel. So I did a few test pieces with the grinder wheel, and it was just a bit too much for the surface I was working with. It was just tearing large chunks off. So I ended up going with the drill, and let me tell you, that thing will get away from you. Thing's got some torque to it. Got myself a few times. So I had a little big brain dum-dum bubblegum move here. This piece was just flapping around a little bit, and I figured, well, the dry lock will hold it down, but just to be safe, I'll glue it down. And smart guy. I put some super glue on it, ate right through. So just a little bit of patchwork. I already had to do some with the expanding foam, if you saw it up there on the top right. So little road bump, a little speed bump, pothole, you know, but we got it done. So after I patched everything up, I ended up going on with the first coat of dry lock. I ended up using a few different shades for each coat. Got that gem from Brad's Bioactive Builds, just so I can cover my bases and see any spots I might have missed. Don't want any spots where water can seep through and possibly compromising that background. At any rate, any left behind color will just be added texture, which in the end we're not going for any streamlined color. Looks a little too bland. So this is the first coat dried. It's really good at this point because you can kind of just get an image of where everything's going. I already left that one left side smooth so I could have a space to put that feeding ledge, which I intend to secure with some silicone and expanding foam. So this is how we're looking with the ledge attached. It's not fully attached. I got some plastic toothpicks actually and stuck it in there. I chose plastic because I knew they wouldn't rot, and they basically gave me enough support to fix everything on there with the glue and foam without it being an eyesore. I also gathered a bunch of pieces of cork that I had laying around, as well as some wood from outside that I sanitized in the oven. Got some thin beams here that should be good for climbing around on. I want plenty of climbing opportunity. Once the plants cover up everything, it'll look really nice. And this was the point where I lined up the first piece of wood, which was the base of really how everything was going to end up. And that's what I really like about these projects. Once you get started, it's just kind of free-flowing. Everything finds its place. Everything has a place where it needs to be. As you can see here, I now have the ledge secured, as well as a planter up there and a little bit of foam on the bottom of that log to hold it in place. So you're looking at the final result of the dry locking for the background. I went with a dark gray base coat. On top of that, I went with a lighter gray Just tried to mist the groove so it could have some depth, and then I dry brushed a very light gray on top of that. Gives us a nice texture. This is the first time I've ever used dry lock or foam, but I'm pretty happy with how it turned out, and all that leaves us to do is fit the rest of this wood in here and get some hides going. So yeah, let's get to that.
Yeah, okay. Rock and roll, rock it up. I don't even have a fucking double cup. Said I used to sip pops like it wasn't enough. Said I used to sip pops like it wasn't enough. Draw it up. What's the plan? Life fucks with me. Push my hand. I can't help but do it again. I said I can't help but do it again.
So I ended up with a little something like this. I really didn't even have to secure these pieces of wood. Just the tension, especially with the foam kind of depressing in there. Did a really good job of holding everything in, and I don't think a little chameleon gecko is going to change that. So we got our first cork hide in there on the left-hand side. It is great stuffed in, so that thing is stuck. It's not going anywhere. Perfect size for some little chameleon geckos. On top of that, we've got that planter up there, which our first plant is going into. And our first plant would be a Hoya Neocaledonica. Well, it's in the name. It says it all. You know, this is a Hoya native to New Caledonia. So this one was a little hard to get my hands on. I'm happy I got it. Next up, we've got a Hoya, and I know I'm going to butcher this. I'm sorry to all my plant friends, but Limoniaca. I don't know, man. All I know is it's native to New Guinea and New Caledonia, and with it being a Hoya planted in the ground, I don't expect it to spread much, which is perfectly fine. It's just good aesthetic. And lastly, we've got our Australian Wax Jasmine, which can be found in New Guinea, New Caledonia, and of course Australia. And this is what's really going to bush out and provide some good cover for the animals. So let's get them all in. First with some Malika.
Move back. Man, I got a motherfucking monkey on my back. Can't move on, then you don't got sack. Where I come from, motherfucker, don't lag. Move back. Man, I got a motherfucking monkey on my back. Can't move on, then you don't got sack. Where I come from, motherfucker, don't lag. Just get the fan, that ain't me. I got big visions to be. That's right. Myself and keep my head above water. Give me some bees and I'll slaughter. Fuck on your mama and your daughter. Okay. Dirty dog, that's a lot. Headroom in the mix. You don't even keep stick. Suffer like G did. You just send me you some ribs. I eat you up like it's sick. That girl, she eat up my kids. I like to get up to shit. Better than you, yes, I'm lit. That's right. I don't force anything that I do. Put on a show like a skit.
Stop me. You motherfuckers cannot stop me. You motherfuckers never stop me. You motherfuckers cannot stop me. That's how it be, that's how it be, yeah. Stop me. You motherfuckers cannot stop me. You motherfuckers never stop me. You motherfuckers cannot stop me. That's how it be, that's how it be, yeah.
Well, that is it for this video, guys. If you've stuck around this long, I sincerely appreciate you. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know I definitely enjoyed the process of making this tank. And if you did enjoy it, stick around. I got 2 builds that I'm very proud of that should be coming out soon. Thanks for watching. Later.
I fuck with my people for life. I ride this shit like a bike. Bitch, I'm still sharp like a spike. Shooting like it's Fortnite. Surrender from last night.
Stop me. You motherfuckers cannot stop me. You motherfuckers never stop me. You motherfuckers cannot stop me. That's how it be, that's how it be.